everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about pleats. So if you follow my Instagram or my channel or anything of that nature, you're going to notice that I love pleats. Pretty much a pashmina and a shaper and pleats are my go-to, especially in the winter. I live up in the north, it's pretty chilly, so it's very comforting. Now, there are a bunch of different ways you can do pleats. There's a lot of great pleating videos on YouTube. Rapunzel actually has a really good one that Naomi Rose does. And it's about, getting some really beautiful, really precise, and really neat pleats. Sometimes I do like to take the time to do that, but most of the time I'm actually pretty lazy and I like to do what I call messy pleats. So they're kind of the, ponytail version of a pleated pashmina, and that they're super easy to do and they just take a little bit of fiddling. So I'm going to walk you guys through how to do some messy pleats today using this awesome pashmina. I do believe this is the Marrakesh and it's from Rapunzel. Link is below. And it's a beautiful reversible pashmina. I ended up getting this in 3 different colors because I have no impulse control and I can't stop myself from buying a beautiful pashmina. But it's a wonderful sort of thick pashmina, but also thin, really soft, very stretchy, and it almost pleats itself, a lot like some of their other products that you'll see, me feature in my videos. So we're going to start off with this beautiful pashmina. Now you can do it a couple ways. You can fold it to fit your head, which is basically just making the scarf a little bit smaller so that it goes to the nape of your neck. I personally like sort of not folding it to fit my head because I like creating some pleats at the very beginning of the scarf process. So basically I just fold it a little bit. I pick which side I want visible. In this case, I'm going to do this beautiful dark sort of almost, I guess it's not dark, like an indigo, a little bit like Royal Romans up in here. And all I'm going to do is basically just fold a little bit so I have a clean edge. You don't have to, you could literally put it right up against your head like this, but I do like having a bit of a clean edge. So I'm going to fold it a little bit and then I'm going to pop it on my head with one end short and one end long, like you would if you're going to do a beginner's luck. The beginner's luck is a really great basic tie that Rapunzel has championed for years. I put a link down below, not only to this shaper, but also the beginner's luck tutorial, because of course it's not my brainchild, it is Rapunzel, so credit where credit is due. So basically you're just going to do one end a little bit longer and one end a little bit shorter, keeping in mind that the ends switch when you crisscross or knot them on your back of the nape of your neck. So you're going to want to make sure that whichever end you want your long end to be on is actually where your short end is, because they're going to crisscross. So I like having my tails on this side, which means I keep this side a little bit shorter. And my fold is not working for me today. Okay. I'm also wearing the Wendy shaper, which is also a Rapunzel product, which I have linked below for you guys. So you can see here with the fold, I have a really nice shape, but I have like all this craziness going on. So what I'm going to do basically is just kind of pinch the scarf until I can see that it's going to line up at the back of my neck. Like so, and then I'm just going to bring it up. So now I've got it sort of the right length, but I also have all this craziness happening. So all I actually really do, and again, this is messy pleats. This is not about being crazy neat or, finding these sort of crazy nice angles. You're literally just going to fold this in sort of any way you want. Again, depending on the day, sometimes I'll be really careful, sometimes I won't. So as you can see here, now we've got all these awesome go up to the camera there, messy pleats happening at the front of this scarf. And then all you're going to do, you can tie it in a knot if you want. I always crisscross, especially a pashmina, because I really like, having basically not a lot of bulk at the back of my neck. I find I get headaches if I do too many knots with pashminas, especially like if they're a thicker pashmina. So now all I'm going to do is kind of push my Wendy down, shape my scarf a little bit. So I like how it looks from the front and I like the shape. Now I've actually left this end a little bit too short, but for the sake of the tutorial, because we're talking about pleats, I'm going to leave it. But normally what I would do is I would actually sort of take it all off and redo that again just to make this a little bit longer, because if I want to leave both tails down, I like them to be even. So you wouldn't need such a difference in length. You can see this is like way longer than this one. But so all we're going to do now is we're going to do my favorite thing, I like to call messy pleats. So again, if you're going to do like really like careful pleats, you'd like You know, you can do these folding tricks like accordions and stuff that's really neat. But all we're going to do is sort of pick two ends and roll them in so that we do have some sort of definition here, and then we're going to scrunch. Just sort of make this sort of messy, scrunchy thing that really looks like it is totally and completely a disaster. However, I'm going to retighten this guy up. I like to stick them in my armpit because it keeps the tension on the scarf without needing a knot. And you're going to bring this guy up. So you're going to notice that when I did all that scrunching, I have a bunch of pleats sort of already naturally happening. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sort of leave it like this. So I know I have lots of pleats and lots of fabric, and then I'm just going to make sure that these pleats, when they're brought over, look neat like that. And then I'm going to tie a knot by bringing this forward. So this is the beginner's luck tutorial, like I said, not mine, belongs to Rapunzel, and I've linked to the original tutorial down there. Like I said, obviously, look, this one's really short, right? So if you want these to be equal, you would make them a little bit more equal when you put them on your head. In this case, I'm actually just going to, actually, I'll do this first. So now I've got sort of these pleats here. So now what I'll do is, because I have all this sort of fabric, is I'll just sort of pinch and pull. And like I said, I like it random, a little bit messy, but still to look sort of neat. I usually incorporate a bunch of angles where I can. Bring that forward. So, and usually, like, if I get bumps like this, I'll just sort of turn them in. Your finger's a great tool here to sort of push like that, and you can, you know, smooth them out, just pinch and bring forward. And this way, sort of like, you're not messing around with these pleats before you bring your scarf up. You're just sort of messing around with them after, and you can sort of shape them however you want them to look. When I've got them to where I want it to be, what I'll do is I'll just stick this. You can, you know, turn around and you can tuck it in this way, or you can go around. If it's not quite long enough, like it's a little bit short for this, but I think it might work. You can also tuck sort of up and in this way. So it just kind of depends on your personal preference. But as you can see, I've got sort of this, looks like really interesting, all this stuff happening, you know, all these awesome angles. And it looks like this sort of complex pleats that I spent a lot of time crafting. But you can see all I had to do was just cheat. Just bring forward, scrunch up, figure it out later. Definitely every time it looks a little different, so it's really hard to replicate. If you have the pleats a certain way and you really like them that day, take a selfie, because you're probably not going to get it to look exactly like that the second time you do it. But it's a really easy way to create something very interesting with pashminas that doesn't involve a lot of the sort of precise folding that you'd normally get with pleats, because it's really quick. Like you see, it took me like 5 minutes. This tutorial is going to be 10 minutes. Really easy way to make your pashminas look interesting, and also, you know, really comfortable to wear, because there's really not a lot of weight or a lot of things happening. So go forth, messy pleat. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys incorporate this into your pashmina tying. Obviously, if you're enjoying my channel and you want to see more, please hit subscribe below. And of course, comment if you have any questions, or you want to see this maybe with a different scarf, or I'm happy to do this one also with layers if you want to see what this looks like with more than one scarf. So ciao, lovelies. And I will be back with you soon. Mwah.